Hi, I'm Mike, owner of the In-Groove in Phoenix, Arizona. Time to do another news update for the beginning of November 2021. So I kind of wanted to alert you guys to a problem that everybody's going to be experiencing come next week, or actually come later on this week. It is the Nirvana Nevermind. This is the anniversary edition. Tip-on jacket, vinyl, 7-inch disc. I have gotten word that this is going to be extremely allocated and heavily limited. There was a mistake initially up front. They were supposed to advertise this or solicit this to the vendors like myself. This way we can pass this information along to you guys that this was going to be a limited release. This was not going to be an in-stock product. Me and probably a lot of other people assumed that this was going to be something that probably even replaced the Bernie Grundman cut press that had been, around for the last 10 years. That's kind of how it was worded, all new remastering. It's going to come in a tip-on jacket, and you're going to get it with a bonus 7-inch single. It turns out that is not going to be the case. So and I'll talk a little bit about numbers. I normally don't do that with you guys, but I ordered a ton of these things. I ordered 600 in that range from multiple places. And I'm going to read back to you kind of some of the emails I've got. One particular distributor. Now there's a couple of major distributors. There's some smaller ones, but I placed orders from 4 different places on this. Without getting too specific, distributor number 1 ordered 6,000 of these. They got, out of the 6,000 they ordered, they got allocated 100. What they're doing is they've got 1,900 different accounts. And out of those 1,900 accounts, the first 100 accounts that ordered one, unfortunately in this case I was not one, are getting one record. If you are a store that only ordered from them, you are getting none. If you were lucky and you got 100, you were in the first 100, you're still only getting one. What are you going to do with one? Nirvana is one of the best-selling records of all time. There was a monster smash. It was the record that defined the 90s. A record store in 2021, Vinyl Mania is going to get one. Keep in mind, it's not like this is a supplemental record. It's not like this is something that's supplementing a normally a product that's in stock on my shelf. This is an additional feature. If you want a copy of Nirvana Nevermind on vinyl, right now you really can't get one. You got to go to the secondary market. Distributor number 2. Not as privy to their back structure, but let's suffice it to say they're very large. I order a significant amount of records from them. I typically get really good allocations from them. Come record store day, doesn't matter. I'm getting 2 copies. 2 copies. So that brings the total in-groove count up to 2. Distributor number 3. Don't have the numbers on how many they ordered. Don't have the numbers on how many they're receiving. Probably similar to distributor number 1. Suffice it to say I'm getting 1 from them. Alrighty. And last but not least, distributor number 4, the distributor that I do the absolute most amount of business with. My main distributor, I am getting 10. I feel like this is going to be a major issue for everybody. 1, I know how many I sold of these, and it was a significant amount. So most people are going to be very disappointed that ordered this from me, but it's not, not just me. You're not going to be alone with you're not going to be alone here. It's not just me. Every single major retailer, every single major distributor is going to suffer these same crunches. I will say the absolute biggest of biggest stores maybe will get 10. That's major internet type store. And that's if you cover all your bases as a retailer and order from everywhere possible. I would say your average mom and pop store are going to get 1 to 0. Maybe the largest store in a mid-sized city might get 2. It's not going to be pleasant. I mean, this is going to be, for those who are looking forward to this, myself included, there was word, it was, the original master tape was sourced. They didn't specify whether or not this was going to be analog, but just to let you guys know what's coming up the pipeline for that particular release. Now, I don't know how that affects the box set. That's not coming for some time later. Nobody's specified yet what's going on with the box set. But suffice it to say, the 7-inch single is going to be, if these numbers are correct, and I'm pretty sure they are, because they were, I was alerted to this some time ago, a couple weeks ago probably. And I've just been thinking about it, thinking to myself, you know what? I want to try to get out in front of this a little bit, because this is, people order something on pre-order and most people think they're going to get it. Well, that necessarily in 2021 is not the case. Get your pre-orders in as soon as possible. Right now, there is a mass shortage everywhere. I heard a rumor yesterday, and it's a pretty solid rumor, that there's a lot of pressing plants stating that if you do not have metalwork to them by the end of this year, you will not get a record cut in 2021. Now, I'm sure there's some exceptions for super large contracts, Universal, Sony, Warner, those big guys. But I would say for the average small to independent label, if you do not have metalwork, so that means the band would have to have a finished album. Say you wanted to plan a tentative release for December 2022. You'd have to have the album finished now. That's not normally how quick things happen. These bands don't particularly, they're not into making and manufacturing a record and releasing it a year later. So 2022 is going to be a really weird year. I don't anticipate anything getting better. Things are going to get progressively worse. They are on the decline. I thought when everything started with COVID, I thought I had seen it all. I thought that was the worst it was going to get. Things were getting frantic. Shipments weren't showing up. Things were 2 weeks late. Labels were pushing off major artist releases because they, didn't want the sales to be affected. I thought that was the height of it. It went from Mobile Fidelity Records, everything being in stock for the most part, shy 1 or 2 different titles, to everything selling out and only 2 or 3, 4 restocks a week. Do you guys remember the days of I would do a new arrival video and there'd be a 1, 2, 3 Mobile Fidelity? Okay, guys, this is what came in this week. Those days are over. If you notice, I haven't had, or nobody for that matter, has had a Mobile Fidelity restock in a month. Now, I still got Dire Straits self-titled and Son of Schmielsen in stock, but which is, nice. It's nice having Mobile Fidelity product in stock. But for the most part, RTI isn't getting product out. Or Stoughton isn't getting jackets to RTI for RTI to press product. It's a big problem. Now, I know I'm in a very similar situation because the record I'm doing, The Wild Times, that will come out one day. I've talked about it many times on the channel. That's printed at Stoughton, jacket, pressed at RTI. RTI won't take the jackets until 2022. Stoughton's finally done with the jackets. RTI doesn't have the space to floor them. But this leads me to the next bit of news, which is the Mobile Fidelity one-steps. So, the end of October, they sent out a notice to everyone that Pearl is going to be shipping in 2 weeks. So, to verse you guys with how it works, Mobile Fidelity is going to have about 10,000 of these things. Yeah, they were numbered at 10,000. So, that doesn't mean, when you get see people getting shipping notices or people get their record on Thursday of this week, that means all 10,000 of them have shipped. It is a very big undertaking for not a very large company to ship 10,000 records. They do not do it all at once. These releases typically span over the course of about a month. So keep in mind your Mobile Fidelity one-step, if you order from me, whoever you ordered it from, it doesn't mean you're going to get it shipped this week. It might be a week, 2, 3, 4 weeks, but give it in sometime in the time frame that come December, you probably should have your Janis, Joplin, Pearl one-step. I know a lot of people are waiting for this. This sucker, I want to say, is maybe about a 1-year-old pre-order. This is an old one. This has been out there for a while. And since they announced this, multiple one-steps have gotten released that weren't even announced, i.e. the 2 Eagles one-steps were announced in the middle of it. Now about the Eagles one-steps. I still have not received my shipment of the Eagles one-steps. I do have very shortly these self-titled coming, and the Desperado will maybe follow sometime after that, but they didn't get all their Desperados. I think there's still some manufacturing delays. So to kind of let you guys, I'll give you guys kind of a skinny. The best possible time you're probably going to be able to buy these is probably going to be December, the very beginning of December. The best time to buy these would have been when they were pre-order. I do not understand what's going on with this particular title because the pre-order was around for a significant amount of time. I want to say this title was available for pre-order for a couple, 2-3 months. It finally sold out. I told many people on the channel this thing's going to sell out. If you're an Eagles fan, you want to get this. 7,500 for a band like the Eagles. 7,500 copies of a title is nothing in 2021. That's a drop in the bucket. You know, so the best time to get this is going to be when all the inventory is flushed out into the system. And if time tells you anything, and I'm telling you guys, I've been watching, you know, I'm very, very in tune with the pricing of audiophile records, collectible records, and their price trajectory. When the most amount of inventory is in the system, which is going to be around probably December, mid-December, that's going to be your opportune time to get this. There's not going to be any more coming into the market after that. So what's going to happen is you might go on eBay and, you know, mid-December, you're going to see 100 copies on eBay. And January, you might see 75, 60 copies. And I mean, it's going to slowly trickle and trickle and trickle until you go online today and look at Donald Fagen. See how many Donald Fagen one-steps there are. Or Santana Abraxas. Or, you know, any of those early MoFis. You'll notice as they age, they get more scarce. That's going to be the case with this one. But I'd recommend if you do not have one of these things ordered, yeah, I've got very few copies coming. This was, again, primarily a order direct if you wanted to get a, you know, copy from them. Very few of these are going out wholesale. I've talked about that a bunch. But yeah, I would say mid-December, that's your time to go online, buy one on the secondary market. You're probably going to be paying $175-ish, I would say, would be about that price at that at that time. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but that's probably going to be the target. I would say 6 months to a year from now, $300 record. You know, that just is what it is. So, yeah, that's it for disappointing news update November 2021. Until next time.